Hi friends, I am Dr. Pratap Sinator. I have done MD in Forensic Medicine. In today's video, we will continue with molecular autopsy. In last video, we discussed about examination organs. In that, we discussed about dissection of lungs and heart. In this video, we will discuss about dissection of abdomen and pelvic organs. Coming to first organ to dissect is the stomach. Stomach is removed after applying double ligature at each end and is placed in the clean dish. So first, the stomach is separated by placing a ligature around both the ends near the duodenum and near the esophageal end, and separated and placed in a clean dish with its content to be intact. So the contents of the stomach is useful in cases of poisoning cases where the contents has to be preserved. So in that cases, the content has to be removed and placed in the clean, separate, sterile jars, sterile containers. It is operated along the cater curvature from the cardiac to pyloric end. So the dissection of stomach carried out along the greater curvature by taking incisions by separating along the greater curvature, and it is opened. So once the stomach is opened, the size of the pelvic ring is noted with the finger, and the duodenum is opened along the anterior wall. So to dissect the duodenum, the anterior wall is dissected along the anterior wall, and the stomach is dissected along the greater curvature, and completely the stomach is opened to examine the contents. The contents are examined for nature of any food which may be present and its state of digestion, smell, color, character, and also for presence of any foreign or suspicious matter. So suspicious matter may include like some tablets, or sometimes seeds may be present, or some anything a foul smelling object may be present, has to be there. Then presence of state of digestion helps in again time since death can be estimated based on how much time the person may last meal. If it is known, then time since death can be predicted by the state of digestion. Smell can help in determining the type of poisoning. Color is also helpful, character, and all this has to be noted. The contents are washed out if not required for chemical analysis. So if the contents are not required or poisoning is not suspected, then it can be easily washed out. If not, the content has to be preserved in the separate sterile jar. Mucous membrane is examined for the presence of congestion, hemorrhage, ulceration, and other abnormal conditions. So mucous membrane has to be examined for any presence of congestion, like in cases of like especially there is congestion may be present. Hemorrhages may be present in like varices is there, or sometimes ulceration is present. So in these cases, hemorrhage may be present. So if there is hemorrhage, it may be like partially digested, partially digested may be present, or if it is a post-mortem, it may not be clotted, or if it is antemortem, it will be clotted. So the condition of clot is also very important. Next, after stomach dissection is the intestinal dissection. Small and large intestine is examined, looked for conditions of cirrhosis of the condition of the small intestine, diameter of various portions of the part of the small and large intestine, color, consistency of wall, adhesions, hernia, or any abnormalities if it is present in the intestines, like intersusception is present or some obstruction is present, has to be looked. The superior mesenteric vessels are examined for any diseases, thrombi or emboli if it is present. Next, the small intestine is opened along the line of mesenteric attachments, and large intestine along the anterior tenia. So along the mesenteric attachments, so in the small intestine, the mesenteric wherever it is attached, it has to be dissected. So along the mesenteric attachment, the intestine is cut open and contents of the intestine examined. In large intestine, it is cut along the anterior tinea in the ascending colon and transverse colon. Along the tinea, the incision is taken and opened for examination of the contents. The contents are examined, especially in poisoning cases. It has to be clearly examined. Sometimes there may be congestion may be present, inflammation may be present, erosions, ulceration or perforation may also be present. That has to be examined thoroughly. Arteries and veins are examined particularly for presence of any thrombi is present, or some emboli may be present. So if there is any emboli is present, that part of the intestine will be completely infected. That has to be clearly examined. Next, liver is examined, followed by after stomach intestine is completely dissected and contents are examined. Then liver is removed by itself or attached to the stomach, and duodenum when bile ducts are to be examined. So sometimes liver may be separated separately dissected, or it may be to examine if gallbladder has to be examined. It is along with stomach and duodenum. It has to be the duodenum to detect the bile duct opening in the duodenum. It can be looked with the duodenum itself. After dissecting the liver separate, its weight, size, color, consistency and presence of any pathological processes or injury is noted. It is cut into 2 cm thick slices which run along its long axis. So usually the every major organs are dissected along its long axis about 2 cm apart. Major slices are made along the long axis. The dissection is done. So the liver is dissected along the long axis. The dissection is carried out, and each part is locally examined for any abnormalities. So usually long axis dissection is done. In chronic venous congestion, the cut section has granular appearances, and common conditions like abscess and like amoebic abscess may be present, that has to be looked for. Fatty liver present in cases of the person is chronic alcoholic, it may be present. Cirrhosis also seen in alcoholic may be present. So usually look for pathological conditions, or sometimes liver may be enlarged, that has to be examined. So this condition, venous congestion if present, has to be looked for. Then gallbladder, mainly if any gallbladder is examined, if stones or any abnormality suspected like abscess, cystitis is suspected. Gallbladder is examined for tumors, bile secretions. Bile secretion can be examined by squeezing the gallbladder, and its secretions into the duodenum opening has to be examined when the stomach is still in the stomach is not yet dissected. Then calculi can be opened, can be detected by opening the bile duct. Next organ to dissection is the spleen. The spleen is usually present on the above the stomach. The spleen is removed by cutting through its pedicle. After the spleen is cut open, its size, weight, consistency, condition of capsule, rupture, injuries or diseases if any is noted. Many times, mainly cases like malaria or Kala Azar, in that cases there is splenomegaly is present, that is commonly may be present. Its splenomegaly can lead to hemorrhagic shock if there is any small injuries. If any small injury is present on the spleen, also it can cause severe hemorrhage and leading to hemorrhagic shock. Again, the spleen is sectioned. So usually the spleen is sectioned again along its long axis, and the character of parenchyma, follicles and septa is noted. Then pancreas is usually removed together with the stomach and duodenum. So usually the pancreas are present usually at the with the stomach. It has to be examined. It is sliced by a series of cut sections at right angles to the long axis. So usually most of the organs are dissected along the long axis, but in pancreas it is usually sectioned perpendicular to its long axis. This gives the best exposure to ductal system of the pancreas. So by dissecting along the long axis, perpendicular to long axis, the ductal system which is present in the pancreas can be examined properly. Before kidneys are examined, renal artery ostia are examined for thrombi, emboli and atherosclerosis. So kidneys, before dissection of kidneys, the renal arteries, renal veins has to be examined for presence of atherosclerosis, signs of emboli and any changes. The renal veins are also examined for thrombus. Then afterwards the kidney are separated separated from the capsule, and size, weight of each kidney is noted. The capsule is stripped with the tooth forceps. Then afterwards the kidney is held in the left hand between the thumb and the fingers. It is held between thumb and the fingers, and the ureter passing between the ring and the middle fingers. So one finger is on the left side, thumb and fingers, and the ureter has to pass in the middle finger. The kidney is sectioned longitudinally through the convex border. So along this border the kidney is dissected. So one blade is passed from the here, and it is divided into equal halves. So the kidney has to be divided to make it has a equal halves. It is dissection from its convex border into the hilum, so as to split in half and open the pelvis. So once it is dissected, the each half of each kidney is examined properly. So once it is cut from its longitudinal axis, it can be examined. So any abnormality is present in the pelvis, in the medulla and pelvis, it has to be examined. The pelvis is examined for calculi and inflammations. The ureter is split by fine scissors. So along the ureter, scissor is used, pushed here and cut along the ureter for examination. Again, the pelvis, any abnormality, infarction, signs of infarction is present, any abnormalities or congestion or inflammation is present, has to be noted. Then adrenals, which are present on the above the kidneys, are identified by the relationship to the upper pole of the each kidney. Periadrenal fat is gripped with the forceps and cut, and adrenals are removed. Gland is cut with scalpel without applying an undue pressure, since it is fragile, so it has to be cut with gentle pressure. Hemorrhage in this seen in meningococcal septicemia, bleeding diseases, hypertension, blood Thomas pregnancy, etc. In these all cases, there is hemorrhage is present in the adrenal gland. Next is the bladder. It is opened from the fundus and incision extended within the urethra. So usually the bladder is opened from the fundus area, and it is cut along the walls to completely open the bladder. The condition of the wall and amount and character of urine are noted, and if any poisoning case is suspected, if urine is present, has to be collected. Then prostate, it is examined for enlargement or malignancy. Vertical cross section through the lateral and median lobes are made with the knife. So prostate is it has to be examined. Cross section is taken, and lateral median lobes are separate sections are taken and examined with knife. Testis, examination of testis. Testis is usually pushed out of the scrotum through the inguinal canal after the inguinal canal is incised. So first the inguinal canal is incised along and widened up. Afterwards, testis is pushed out of the scrotum, pushed from the scrotum and inguinal canal. And then vas and then epididymis are held with left hand and are cut longitudinally with the knife. So testes are cut along the epididymis and examined. Any clot inside the scrot around the testis is noted. So if any injuries are present on testis, has to be examined. Then coming to female genital examination. So tubes, fallopian tubes, ovaries and uterus are freed from the pelvis and are removed. So in case of female, the organs, thus first the uterus, fallopian tubes, ovaries has to be separated. Then anterior vaginal wall is cut from below upwards, exposing the cervix and fornices. So first the anterior vaginal wall is cut open so that the uterus is completely exposed and removed. So uterus is opened from external os to the fundus. So external os, which is present in the cervix, cut from the external os, and it is dissected along the centrally from the external os. Then afterwards, the next incision, two short incisions are made in the fundus from main longitudinal incisions towards the each corner to expose the endometrium. So after the longitudinal incision, one more short incision is taken along the fundus on the both sides, calling a T-shaped incision. This incision will open the endometrium and expose the uterus. If uterus contains a fetus, its age has to be determined. It becomes a regular case. Then after T-shaped incision, again T-shaped incision is taken. Then the T-shaped incision, again, if fetus is there, it has to be examined. In ovaries, a section longitudinally and tubes are cut across the intervals. So for fallopian tubes, it is cut in multiple intervals to suspect any ectopic pregnancy. So many times ectopic pregnancy cases are present where even though the female may not know that may occur, and ectopic pregnancy may be lost, and ectopic pregnancy is one of the reasons sometimes the accident that may occur. So for that suspicion, the tubes has to be sectioned in multiple intervals. Ovaries are sectioned longitudinally, and tubes are cut across the intervals for examination. So that completes the female genital examination and dissection of abdominal pelvic organs. These are my references. Thank you.